Hi there, come join me on this beautiful Sunday morning to do some yard work and some prep garden work so that I can get ready for the planting season next month. Okay, so first things first, I'm planning on spreading some good old chicken manure all over the front and backyards. I get this product, let me show you. So I have a bag open from last season. I get this from Home Depot. I find it is the best bang for your buck when it comes to relatively natural organic fertilizer. It doesn't necessarily say it's organic, but hell, it's chicken manure. I'm not too picky with the whole, for it to say specifically that it's organic or not. I find it's a bit of a scam in my opinion, but that's just my hot take. So, product. I actually ordered a bunch last season because they had it on sale. Pure Grow pelletized chicken manure, 9 kilograms, and I think I got it for like $6, which is a great deal. It's really effective. The NPK is 543, and as you know, or as a lot of gardeners know, when you try to find natural fertilizers, let's just take out the word organic for now, you're gonna find a hard time getting any of those numbers that even or high. A lot of times it's just like 0.1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, you know, kind of nonsense like that. So I think that's a really great deal. I'm just gonna spread that all over the front yard and backyard on all the garden beds because it just gives them a good boost while the plants are growing. It's breaking down, and then once the plants are more established, it is gonna be able to become available to the plants and, you know, provide ample nutrients. So what I like to use is this beat up pitcher because it holds a lot of products, and just hold your breath because it's a little bit dusty. There you go. Got a whole pitcher of chicken manure to spread. I just eyeball it. I don't really measure by any means how much is spread onto how much area, right? Nobody got time for that, so let's go for it. Give you a little POV situation. And yes, some of my plants are already coming out, but that's the beauty of spring. I can't remember if I spread any of this stuff before the season finished or when I was closing down my garden, cleaning it up. Sometimes I do that. I have time. I remember to do so. Usually just sprinkle liberally. Try to place yourself like kind of against the wind, if you will, or whatever way to prevent the dust from blowing back into your face. Today's not that windy at all, so it's perfect, but that can't happen to you, and you'll have a face full of chicken manure dust, which is never fun. Beautiful daffodils are up. I'm gonna be a little bit less generous over here, like I'll just spread it if I feel like it, but all this mother of time that I have as the lawn replacement doesn't have that high of a nutrient requirement, so I can just forego spreading it all over here. Give a boost. I don't know if it's too late to give a boost to daffodils. Like this bunch here just refuses to bloom for me very well. It's looking like I'm only gonna get one daffodil from this bunch here, so that sucks. And that bunch got overtaken by this shrub here. Give a little bit to my herbs. Herbs aren't very heavy feeders anyways, so they do appreciate a little bit of nutrient boost after a long winter. I have a tiny little strawberry patch over here, so I'm gonna give a generous amount over here just so that I get a decent yield from this patch. And then this patch here is just more herbs mainly. I usually like to plant something, maybe a sunflower in this little section here, a little section there, and so on and so forth. But I will sprinkle a little bit for now, and then as I'm planting the thing, I will plant it in the planting hole. I mean, add fertilizer in the planting hole as needed. I am going to sprinkle a generous amount on these currant plants. Even though, like I've explained before, I'm not a big fan of these currants whatsoever. The plants themselves are just fine. Just the fruit, I don't like the fruit. I'm just like, whatever. They taste bland, or not good per se. You're probably thinking, do they even really need more fertilizer? Because literally, look at this thing. Huge. The blackcurrant does produce very pretty, ow, just scrape myself on those thorny goji berries. Yeah, the blackcurrant does produce gorgeous yellow blooms. And I have taken advantage of every bit of front yard space possible. So just this last little strip of land that we technically own, I planted lavender, and look at this lovage. It's already coming up beautifully. It's just so unfortunate. I absolutely hate it. I want to take it out, but then I'm like, okay, grows so well, so easily. And that's how it usually goes. Things that grow the best taste the worst for me. Yeah, it just tastes like soap to me, honestly. It smells like soap, tastes like soap. Okay, why am I fertilizing that? But yeah, this is my main strawberry patch. It has established very nicely. With generous amounts of fertilizer. There are weeds that have managed to establish and poke through here and there, like rhizome spreading weeds, so annoying. But otherwise, I would say that the strawberries have established themselves well enough to the point where the weeds don't go too crazy. And this little front patch over here, I threw down these kind of random strawberry plants I picked up on clearance when I was working in the garden center. And I come to find out, these are actually wild strawberry plants. And you can see the leaves are actually smaller, right? I'm not even 100% sure what variety exactly the rest of my strawberry plants are. All I know is they're June bearing. They're quite small, but they're quite productive, and they're quite tart. They're not very sweet in general, but they're perfect for making jam, and if you're up to it, fresh eating. So now I'm just gonna drag this whole rest of this bag to the backyard, because it'd be quite silly of me if I didn't bring everything with me. I might need more than this, mind you, but I think I'm just gonna fertilize the beds, and especially the fruit trees and shrubs, so that they can get some more nutrients earlier. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna sprinkle more of the chicken manure on the beds here, and that's all you need to do. I kind of do a little bit of a no-dig method because it's extra work, and apparently it does disturb the soil biome enough for it to kind of not benefit you anymore. However, I do find after a while you do need to aerate your soil here and there, because with all the watering and the raining and all that kind of stuff, it does compact your soil quite a bit over the months, the years and whatnot. But I might be due for a little bit of aeration this year. However, I'm just gonna be sprinkling on the chicken manure today. A sprinkling a little bit extra over here because I have garlic popping up. And I really want to get nice big bulbs. One thing that's a problem with this product, it does clump up very easily if any moisture gets in there. I made a mistake one year of leaving a bag out all winter long, and then come to find in spring, it's just this bag of mush, because as soon as any moisture, any water hits these pellets, it just disintegrates, right? So it's really not forgiving to water. I just pulled out this big old clunk out of the bag. And once again, I'm due for more weeding in these beds. I did quite a bit of weeding just last weekend, and this whole week was some beautiful weather, really warm. And of course, unsurprisingly, more weeds had popped up. That's the Canada geese again, going crazy. However, I did notice some of my volunteer greens pop up, some seedlings popping up, some mustard. I think this is the red Mizuna mustard coming back up again. And then I believe these are some lettuce seedlings, which is just great. They could use some water. Okay, excuse the mess. So I'm gonna move this and get access to this storage bin a little bit easier so that I can actually, and also get access to this peat moss that's been here for a while, and start to replenish some of the growing containers. Yeah, wow, talking over these canning geese is a task and a half. I will be getting a little mic soon, so hopefully that makes it better. Hopefully you can still hear me. My wheelbarrow is currently out of commission. If you've seen my stories on Instagram, yeah, I need to replace the wheel on that guy. There's some weight for that matter, so just drag it over here. I made this thing, by the way, for a mini greenhouse, hoop house that I set up a couple years ago when I was a little bit overzealous. And now all I do is just keep my seedlings in clear tote containers, and I literally just bring it in and out of the house as need be, depending on the weather. But this past week I haven't even had to bring it back into the house because it's been so warm even during the nighttime. So this is what I mean by what I do with my seedlings that I'm raising up. I just put them in these clear plastic tote containers. I was meant to show you another video for you know, seed starting and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not sure if I'll even post that video in the end because my face was so swollen that day. I think it was just a day or two before I realized I had some kind of stomach bug, and that's what usually happens to me when I get sick. My face gets all bloated. Anyways, so yeah, these are looking excellent because of the amazing weather we had this past week. They definitely grew significantly. Only some of the tomatoes have a bit of signs of sun scalding, like right here. But it's not nearly as bad as other years, I would say. I think they adjusted beautifully to the outdoor sun. They even tolerate the afternoon sun because the way the house is oriented, the sun comes slowly creeping inwards as it gets closer to the afternoon evening time. But yeah, otherwise they've been just sitting out here. I close up the containers at night for the past few nights, but tonight I think I have to bring them back in because it's going to drop back down to intolerable temperatures for seedlings like tomatoes, peppers, squash, cucumbers, and whatnot. These guys I will bring in because they just simply don't have a container. If they did, I might consider leaving them outside with the lid closed on them, depending on how low it drops down to. But I know we're going to go back down to 0 this coming week, which sucks. Okay, I'm just going to grab some perlite from this giant bag that I got recently from Home Depot. Home Depot online. They do not carry these readily in the store. It took a long time to get here because it literally came all the way from the middle of nowhere in the US for some reason. So yeah, I'm just gonna grab some and bring it to the back. Mind the dust on this, okay? Like literally it's so dusty. Like I said, super dusty. Lovely, sure. Should probably wear a mask, but it was too late to get one. Okay, since my wheelbarrow is out of commission right now, I'm going to directly mix the mixture in the containers themselves. Yeah, that's the only way I can go about it right now. I'm just gonna use this stuff right here. I'm glad actually that this peat moss has been sitting out for a while so I can just absorb up all the rain and whatever that goes into it. Because if any of you have worked with like fresh peat moss from the bag, a lot of times it's dry, and the dust of it comes up. Now, I know peat moss is actually really not great for the environment. I am trying to wean myself off of it, but it is quite hard. I can't lie, it is quite hard. I don't find coconut coir have the same kind of growing results, and it's also hard to get my hands on in Canada. And it is significantly more expensive, to be honest, right now at least. So let's get right to it. I don't know what's happening anymore. That's your plan. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this peat moss is really nice and soaked up. It's great for me. One less dusty thing. So I'm just gonna kind of lasagna as I go. The dust on this. So my mixture is some peat moss, some perlite, and some black earth. General quality black earth. This stuff is better quality. I have some cheaper stuff, it doesn't really matter in the end of the day. These containers I'm filling up right now are actually for growing my container zucchini. I have now a couple of varieties at least that do very well in containers, and I find that growing zucchinis in containers really does save them on getting destroyed by like a vine borer. They have a harder time finding the vine to bore into. Yeah, that's what I like to do for the zucchini. And some of them, I do plant a few in the ground, but you know. And now it's good. So this container is like kind of getting there. You do one more lasagna later. Layers. On to the next one. I just thought of something clever, I guess. So instead of letting these volunteer seedlings go to waste, if you will, I'm going to carefully transplant them. Oh, there's a bunch here. There's a lot more than I even noticed before. And then I'm going to plant them into the newly refreshed containers that I just did. So I'm just going to gently grab some. Right. And these seedlings I find are more resilient than the ones that I had started indoors, for instance, because they have germinated and everything outside and is like fully used to the outdoor sun, the changing temperature. So here's one of the newly refreshed containers. I just put fresh potting mix in. So I'm just going to gently transplant these guys. Hopefully I identify these seedlings correctly, but I'm pretty sure these are lettuce seedlings. And I'm just going to put them all along the perimeter of this container because I am eventually going to plant in the middle, right? The main crop, which is probably going to be either a pepper or a determinate tomato. Just not going to disturb the roots too much. Just gently transplant them. There you go. I'm going to water it in afterwards. But I think these guys will do much better than if I were to leave them where they were. Oops. Okay, so that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm probably just going to do some weeding, but that's pretty boring, so I won't torture you with that. Until next time, happy planting. See ya.